Hey guys, welcome all. I've invited everyone in now, so we're just waiting for Ron. Hey, everybody's here. How is it?
Yo, what's up, gentlemen?
Hey,
Ha!
good. How are you guys?
Look at those handsome gentlemen right there, everyone. Look
Hey,
at
I
that. Pretty much in the playback. Let's go.
hey, it's how's it going? You're right at the end of the day today, mate, aren't you, Rongo? It's about
Yeah,
9 o'clock there, something like that.
it's 8 p.m. here in
Okay,
Western
okay.
Australia.
Yeah,
What is it, midday there for you?
yeah, we're still in the middle of the day here. It's kind of lunchtime or just after lunchtime sort of thing, like
Gee,
so.
to
Yeah,
be
kind
looking
of.
that good midday, gentlemen, you're doing well.
Yes. I guess we should. I guess we should sort of jump in. So, welcome everybody to Unbreakable Strength Stories Part Two. Obviously, myself and Rob as normal, and we got the Mr. Rongo Keene with us today, which is awesome news, and I'm really looking forward to having a chat with you and kind of learning a little bit more about yourself, what's going on, what you got planned, all the rest of the sort of stuff, So yeah, it's going to be good. So I'm really excited to kind of get stuck into it. So I guess the obvious kind of thing with these is, excuse me, that you have a load of questions about strongman and sort of stuff like that, and that's and we'll get to that. But I kind of want to start on a slightly the bit that sometimes kind of doesn't get talked about, and that's the bit about outside of strongman. Obviously, strongman's a big part of your life, is a big part of mine, big part of Rob's, what I'm saying, but we've all got our own sort of things going on in the background. So, it's kind of, what, just maybe little bit on your interests outside of strongman, things you like to do. I know you're a family man, you're really focused in that area, you kind of, those sorts of things, just a little bit about what you do with your time outside of strongman.
Yeah, man, awesome. No, first of all, thank you guys for having me. Really excited for, what's coming up, all these awesome opportunities, man. But just to be on here with you guys, talking all things life and strong, man. Let's go, gentlemen.
Yeah, for sure.
Always taking it off, always taking it off.
It's a bit warm
Taking it off.
a bit warm.
So tell us a bit about your life outside of strongman, mate. So the sort of the things you do with your time.
So, like most strongmen, I have a full-time job. I live in Western Australia. We live in a gold mining town. I've worked in the gold mines for the past 18 years. I'm a labourer, so all hands on for me, brother. In my earlier days, I worked on a farm, so I was a farm hand, and then I also worked in the freezing works back in New Zealand. So my whole life, I've pretty much a labourer, man. Hard work, pay the bills. Besides from that, 100% family man, 100% man for the community, and 100% leader for my people.
I know that that we've kind of spoke a little bit, and I've sort of seen a lot of the stuff that you kind of do and that, and I can see that's really important to you, to kind of represent your community and kind of be an advocate and speak out, and sort of talk about some issues and sort of stuff like that. I mean, I think that's amazing. The more people that do those sort of things, the better.
100%, brother. And I'm very blessed to be in the position I'm in. Where I get to I have a social media presence, but also I get to travel the world and meet all these amazing people, shake all these amazing hands, but also showcase who I am, my culture, but also just help inspire other people, that are going through rough things in their life. That no matter your situation, man, anything is possible. So, yeah, and I'm all about that, especially my backstory with it all too. I've been there, I've hit rock bottom like a lot of people have, but, I'm constantly chipping away, trying to do better every day for me and my family.
How did you get?
Yeah,
How did you get into the sport, Rongo? What was your path into it? Was it from another?
So no disrespect to anyone, but I knew nothing about strongman. Being brought up in New Zealand, we're 100% rugby, man. We're born and bred to play rugby. That's our culture. Our fathers play it, our forefathers play it, our grandparents play it. So it wasn't until I moved to Australia that I met a guy that was working security. His name was Kyle Whitehall, and he was on the strongman scene for many years back in the day, representing New Zealand. And I was always stronger than normal. So I've always naturally been strong, especially in my work. I could carry a lot more than everyone else. I could do a lot more than everyone else. And I'd never gone to the gym. All I did was play rugby, but I was good at work. And I met Carl. He was working on the doors, and I heard he was a strongman. And I asked him to train me. And he laughed at me a few times, but I kept nagging him. And then one day he gave in and started training me. And it wasn't too long we realized that I was actually quite good at it.
I mean, it's an interesting.
But he was.
It's an interesting thing because, like, you know, people sort of talk about, you know, training programs and having coaches and all that sort of stuff. Like, but, you know, I'm a great believer in there are some people that are just naturally strong, you know, and you sort of talking about some of the jobs you had around, you know, sort of farming, mining, you know, they're really physical jobs. And I think some people kind of genetically or, you know, have the ability to kind of be strong anyway without really going to the gym.
And that was my backbone of it all. I was just a good worker, a hard worker. So I knew how to work hard, and that carried over into the gym for me. And it was quite natural, you know, lifting all these awkward things. It was just like lifting something at work, you know, because being a scaffolder of my trade, we were always carrying things on our shoulders, lifting things above our heads. So it was natural to me. All it was coming up with a training method and programs on, and putting it all together. But honestly, man, I never went to the gym growing up. The only time I did go to the gym was to do a quick chest session and arm session before we went out to town with the boys, you know.
Get a little pump on. Get a pump on.
Yeah, that's what it means. And I was just speaking to one of my mates yesterday, actually. He brought it up. He was the gym guy in our crew. And like, he'd always be like, bro, come to the gym. And for years I said, we'll go there for, bro, I wouldn't do that. And then now the roles have turned, you know what I mean? So, for anyone watching, man, it's, you know, just because you're not into it, there's always time.
Yeah.
You can always turn. There's always time.
Yeah, it's never too late to start, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, it's the kind of thing that, you know, as you kind of move through life, and, you know, I mean, we'll talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you've had kind of going through yours in a minute, sort of thing. But, you know, there's always the opportunity to kind of, you know, start something new and, you know, and kind of make a positive kind of impact and, you know, kind of change for the better, I guess. I mean, the next thing I was going to ask was around, I mean, obviously, you know, we see yourself, and there's some kind of fairly high profile kind of people from Australia, New Zealand and all that. But I mean, what's the kind of strongman scene like over there? Are there a lot of competitions?
Honestly,
a lot of athletes?
It's pretty amazing how far the sport has come within the last few years, you know what I mean? I've been very fortunate that I've watched it grow over these years, and where it's sitting at today is absolutely amazing for our women and our men. You know, the level of athletes that are coming through right now are freaking high class, and it's really good to see. Right now on the pro scene, man, we've got some big boys knocking on the door, you know, and it's good for us. It's good for all of us over here because we haven't really had that representation from our side for a while. But now we're getting these good athletes coming through, and there's some big names that are standing up that are coming over, man, and we're on our way. We're coming. We're getting our shit together, guys. We're coming over.
Coming for them
so
challenges.
It's really good.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you know, and we're all like family over here, as weird as that sounds, you know, like we all see what, you know, we've all come up the ranks together. We've all worked our asses off together. We've all put our hands up for opportunities. We had to go out and make our own opportunities. So we're all in it together. It's just hard because we're on the other side of the bloody world, and to get over to you guys is like a damn 30-hour flight plan. You know what I mean? So it's quite hard. So
yeah,
we have to be very smart and selective on what moves we make in the game to make sure that we get over and do what we can, the best we can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and there's some sort of, I guess they're not new competitions, but, you know, the international invitational that happened a few weeks back, you know, there are a few sort of other high, I mean, I say high profile, but they're becoming more visible from sort of this side of the world. Do you know what I mean?
I think people, you know, people forgot that every year we used to do the Arnolds a few years ago. Then we'd bring all the pros over. There'd be 10 pros that would come over for the Arnolds every year. When COVID hit, everything hit the fan all around the world. But for us, that was the big show that everyone prepped for the year locally to be prepared, and then to see the big boys come over. And now that Mason and the crew, a part of Australia's Strongest, have put all these together for us, the pathway moving forward is awesome. That's the first big show that they've done in a long time, to have the pro series, men and women too. And for what they got planned coming up, man, it's going to be awesome.
Because that's a good point. Because I think people forget that Eddie did was it the 465 deadlift world record in 2015 or something? He did that at the Arnold's in Australia, didn't he? I remember seeing the
100%. Yeah, that was in front of Arnold. Yeah,
flight to get there. Yeah, so and I think people forget that there's a good tradition and a good kind of, you know, scene out there, and you know, we're seeing more and more of that over here, which is all more power to the sport, because it's great to have some Anzacs over here as well, but it's even better to have some Polynesian guys in the sport as well, because
100%. And so I think moving forward, man, there's going to be some pretty big comps that are going to invite a lot of more international guys. You know what I mean? They've got some big plans coming together, and it's exciting. It's exciting for us because we get to go up against some of the best boys, and for us, that's exactly what we need, because there's only so much you can do here locally going up against each other, where if you really want that challenge, you've got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I mean, and it's as you say, it's a logistical kind of challenge, isn't it, to kind of get people over to kind of get into those comps, and the more that's developed on that side of the world. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, both Rob and I are ex-military, and we kind of played a lot of rugby with Fijian guys and all that sort of stuff. So, we know how strong, the Polynesian guys are, and how much kind of power that is there, sort of thing. So, I mean, even just on the most, you sort of talk about not going to the gym, but even just on the most basic level of just being strong as, I mean, you guys are starting from a really, really good place. So it just makes sense that there's going to be so much talent that can kind of come through and develop.
And I get asked this question all the time. They're like, why aren't more Polynesian people doing it? And I think about that. I'm like, shit, no, you're right. You know what I mean? With the genetics that some of our people have, if we could, get them early in the early stages and bring them up, right, man, we could create some absolute monsters.
Yeah. A shout out to Kalini and Nualagu, who hit me so hard that my spine's still travelling around the world. I'm still not recovered from that. It absolutely folded me up like a camp cot. It was
yeah, there's some big hits that were going in for sure. So, no, I mean, it's really interesting to kind of, I mean, obviously we had Jordan Osborne over last year for SCL England, and obviously, I think most people will probably know by now, it's been announced that you're coming across as well, which is fantastic.
100%,
man. Have you over in the UK? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm so excited, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I was on the edge of my seat watching the last comp. I was like, wow, I don't know where I have to go to qualify, but I'm going to get to that competition, and so I'm just very grateful to be there. Just it's the whole atmosphere. It looked amazing. The competition looked amazing. Everything. So I'm just pumped to be a part of it.
Because I mean, we'll talk about competitions a bit later on, but I know that you kind of did some SCL stuff last year, and you got some plans this year as well, sort of thing. And I mean, and I guess in a way, going back to our previous point about people getting opportunities, that's a really good kind of way for people to kind of come up into the international scene, is via the Strongman Champions League kind of route.
I think people have to remember, especially up and comers, you're never going to get anything. You have to work your ass off to get it, and you have to put yourself out there to get these invites. Like, you can't be sitting at home moaning, saying, I should have got this invite. You've got to give the promoter a reason to invite you. You've got to make yourself, you've either got to be very strong or you've got to be very entertaining. And if you can do both together, then that puts something together. Because, at the end of the day, the promoter's got to promote you somehow, and you've got to turn up and perform. So that's the key to it all. So guys watching, man, get off your ass, put yourself out there. Go and throw yourself in the mix with some guys that are way stronger than you, because the only way you're going to learn is from, putting yourself in there. And if you take a loss, you got to come back from that. Yeah. That's the only way.
It's simple is get off of social media, get in the gym and get into a competition and prove something.
Stop posting your training videos up, brother, because they don't
you can do
you can put them on the floor. And it's we all speak about it. You see it all the time. A lot of guys putting up this and that, but then we get to competition and it's not like that. You know what I mean? You've got to put it on the floor. That's where it matters.
For sure. So, I mean, before we kind of move on from the kind of, New Zealand, Australia kind of scene, is there anyone like athletes to watch? Can you think of any like up and coming guys that you know of?
100%. Well, everyone, right now, hot on the scene, we've got Matthew Ragg coming through. Matt Ragg from New Zealand. He's been an absolute beast for years, but now he's finally dipping, he's getting let off the leash, guys. He's been just quietly working hard behind closed doors, putting in the work day in, day out. And the product you guys see now is from a man that just locked himself away and did the work. And he's about to get he's about to be let loose. And this man's going to do some pretty crazy things. Not only Matt, you know, we've got all the new guys coming through. Jordan, they're coming through. We just had Australia's strongest man. The talent in Australia right now is through the roof right now. The guys that are coming through are freaking awesome. Yeah. Not only that, we've got our pros. We've got Coco. We have Eddie Williams. Also, we just have Fadi. Fadi just got an invite to World Strongest Man. So, like, we've got guys here that are stepping up and coming through. So it's awesome for our side, because it gives all the new guys coming up, all the guys that want to do it, hope that, you know, there are opportunities. Guys are getting invited to the big shows. Guys are doing it. So if they can do it, we can do it. So that's huge for us over here.
I mean, we kind of touched on the whole social media and posting stuff and all that, but I mean, you know, you can do it in a really positive way as well, because obviously, you know, there's the whole Rongo Ringo kind of scenario, sort of thing, like, you know, it's hilarious.
And that's the people that don't know me are quite confused, and I understand why. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm all about having a laugh, man. I'm all about having fun. But don't get me wrong. Like, when I'm at a competition, when I'm ready to compete, I'll rip your head off. You get what I mean? That's the difference. You know, there's the warrior. So the warrior is a totally different person to who Rongo is. Rongo is the family man, the loving man, the guy that just loves everyone. But then the warrior is a totally different animal. Yeah, you know what I mean? So
I've just been talking to my coach about some goals for this year, and one of them is to find those identities. Your identity in the gym, your identity, you know, in other ways, and then pick a character. And my gym character is the Hulk, because, you know, he's kind of resonates with me. But, you know, and then pick some things that the Hulk is all about, and work out which of those areas you need to work on. So that's really, really cool. That's, you know, that clear identity between Rongo and the warrior. I think that's a real
100%.
strong message.
And that's taken me years. You know, I'm very lucky though that the warrior is my culture. You know, the warrior is who I am, and has been passed through generations of generations. So that comes to me naturally. It's just learning how to control and channel him in the right way when it's the right time. Because anyone can lose their shit, but it takes time and patience to learn how to control it.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? Is that it's being able to switch it off and on to move 100%. Through those personalities. Because if you were kind of in that zone the whole of the competition, you burn yourself out, and when you need it, it's not there. 100%. So it's a control thing. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, you know, being able to kind of switch backwards and forwards between the two. So, I mean, kind of jumping forward a little bit. So, you know, this kind of on socials as well, that, you know, there's been a lot of kind of conversation about the visa situation, you know, where you are with it, you know, and I mean, is there any news? Is there anything moved forward?
Well, it's been a process. Like, I didn't realize how much of a process it was. I didn't apply for years because I knew that with COVID and everything going on, they weren't accepting any visas at the time, and if they were only accepting visas that had been accepted prior. So this time around, we went in, got a lawyer involved, went through all the paperwork, which was a nightmare, and I did my first interview, which was good. And then I did my second interview, which was at the consulate, and that was good. So right now, we are just waiting for the yes or no. It could come any day. After the meeting, they said it could take a week, it could take a month, it could take 2. So right now, we're just waiting. Anything could happen. But we definitely put a good case forward, you know, because my charges were like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. You know what I mean? But it's just on the record. So I'm keeping positive as hell, because there's future competitions that I want to go to in America, you know what I mean? There's so many opportunities over there. So right now, we're just keeping positive. I've done all I can. I truly believe I'm going to get it. And we'll just go from there, you know what I mean? So if we get it, man, we're on.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I guess, well, I can speak from my own personal opinion, and I think probably the same as a lot of other people. Do you know what I mean? Is that, you know, what happened. You know, you spent your time, you know, you did that, you're past that, you're living your life and getting on. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to compete at the highest level, you know, and kind of 100%. Represent.
100%. Not everyone's perfect. We all make mistakes. It's whether we learn from those mistakes, you know what I mean? Which we all do. And there's not much we can do about it. Like you said, brother, we just chin up. It is what it is, and move on. You know what I mean? If I don't get it, guys, ain't nothing going to change, man. I'm still going to head down and keep going.
I mean, the thing,
and it's been a battle. Actually, it's been a battle getting places, because some places, I remember I went to Lithuania, and to get there, I had to bypass certain places to get there because I wasn't allowed in. You know what I mean? So it just becomes annoying sometimes wherever you got to go, because you got to make sure the flight plan and that I can get into the place without visas and stuff like that. But we still made it happen. We still make it happen.
Well, I think it's all part of the ethos, isn't it? You know, you've got that resilience and that, you know, keep going, whatever the challenge is, just keep resilient, keep rolling with
100%.
it, driving.
100%. You know what I mean? There's all, you know, if one opportunity fails, brother, there's always one around the corner. Just keep going.
Another tomorrow.
I mean, the way to look at it is it's a massively inspirational story in a way, because, you know, what happened, you know, you spent some time in prison sort of thing. But was it, I mean, is it 6 months afterwards that you were at Worlds? So how
yeah, well, that's what I mean. I think people forget, you know, my career's sort of been, you know, I've had a great career. You know, I could walk away today and be very proud of what I've done, 100%. You know what I mean? But people forget that it was 6 months after I was released from prison that I was at World's Strongest Man.
Wow.
And that wasn't from pure luck. That wasn't from me posting this, posting that. That was from me working my ass off, head down, ass up, to get back to where I was. Because before I went to prison, 2 days after was my first pro debut at Arnold's Australia.
Wow.
And
2 days.
I had, and the year before, I won the Australian heavyweight amateurs to qualify to get my pro card.
Wow.
So I came up the ranks properly, and I got my invite and everything right. And 2 days before I was going to step on the stage, I got locked up. So while I was in prison, and people might forget this, but I'll remind you, while I was in prison, I had a vision board. If everyone doesn't know what a vision board is, get yourself a vision board. It's stuff that you want to achieve, or stuff that you're visualizing that you want for the future. So in my cell, on the wall, I had a picture of my family, and then next to it, I have a picture of the World's Strongest Man. Now, if you fellas watch my video, in my squat rack,
I've seen all the pictures.
That's the same picture that was on my prison cell. So that picture is purposely there to remind me, no matter where the fuck you are or how low you are, you can still do it. And that's why that's there. All those pictures are there because they're goals, but also there to remind me. You know what I mean? There's below the World's Strongest Man, next time you watch my videos, there's the Magnus Classic. I put that picture up when I decided I want to go to Magnus Classic. I didn't even qualify. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I put it up there. I'm the fucking Magnus champion right now.
I know. I mean, it's an interesting, you know
what I mean?
About those.
See what I mean? But those were put up well before I even had a plan. Those were put there. The Giants Live went up there 2 years ago. I'm talking like 5 years ago. Fucking, we're going to Giants Live this year. You see what I mean? So the vision and the vision and the goal never changed. It was always there, but I put it where I could see it all day, every day. So it reminds me.
It's like manifesting, isn't it? It's kind of, you know,
whatever we speak into existence, brother.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you mentioned kind of the Magnus Classic there, sort of thing. I mean, that was, you know, Magnus is he runs a brutal comp. You know, there were some tough events there, sort of thing. I mean, I know you came out on top. You know, I mean, obviously it went well for you.
If anyone out there watching wants to do a real strongman comp, you go to Magnus's show, because
he's going to fuck you up.
the events was one thing, but it was the atmosphere and where you had to do it. We were in the bloody mountains, freezing our asses off. You know, we were doing the farmers run, and it was that cold that they parked the vans up close to the event, and we were all hiding in the vans with the heater on full, and when it was your turn, you jumped out and ran in to do it. You know what I mean? That's the difference. It wasn't the sitting around waiting in a nice warm place, or like, oh, it's my turn. It was like you were fighting for your life on top of competing. That's what it was like. So that's why I say the Magnus Classic is a competition like no other, and what an experience.
I mean, the scenery as well, isn't there? It's you know, when you kind of look, you know, obviously I wasn't there, sort of thing, but looking at it, you can see the pictures, you can see how cold it is, obviously, but it's such a beautiful place.
It's unbelievable. It's breathtaking. You know what I mean? Like, you hear stories about it, but until you actually see it for yourself, it's a bloody wonder. You know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's definitely
sensibilities to things.
But man, yeah, so freaking wow. And we get to do it all again.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely on my list of competitions I want to go and get out to at some point, sort of thing. To
honestly, it's 100%. You got it. It's absolutely amazing.
So I've got a list here of, I mean, you've mentioned a few of them, but I mean, I'll read it out because it's probably easier, of some of the competitions and achievements and stuff like that sort of thing. Because, you know, it's an impressive list to say the least. So I mean, you kind of got the Arnold's Classic, you touched on that one. The amateurs, you got the Arnold Australia's Strongest Man, Southern Hemisphere's Strongest Man, World's Strongest Man in Malaysia, World Loglift Champ, Magnuson Classic winner. Obviously the SCL stuff out in Bosnia. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on. You know, I mean, that's for any athlete, that's a pretty crazy kind of list of achievements, and that's not everything. You know, that's just the few bits that I've kind of picked up and kind of talked about. But you know, it's a little bit kind of going back to what you were saying before about, you know, because you're on the other side of the world. You know, some people don't see all that stuff.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's
100%. And I think it's, you know, it's I've sort of been just cruising under the radar, you know, just doing my best and just working and training. And it's taken, you know, years to try and figure it all out, as we all do. And things are just starting to come together now, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I'm not a full-time athlete, man. I've got a mortgage, I've got bills just like everyone else, I've got a full-time job. So for me, family first, 100%. If my family ain't right, then strongman, you know, it is what it is. So we had during COVID, man, over here, we got smashed. They locked us out. They locked us out of everything. And we did it wrong here in Australia and New Zealand, because while the rest of the world were locked down, they let us keep doing what we wanted to. And then when news opened up, they locked us down.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of,
yeah. So what happened in our area, because we were mining, they pretty much locked us all in so we could carry on mining, because they didn't want to stop mining, because mining is the backbone of Australia. So there was no competitions, no nothing. So I pretty much had like a year and a half off strongman because I couldn't get out to do anything. So I sort of backed off the training and just went to work. And that's when my career sort of took a massive hit, where I couldn't do anything. So I just, you know, stopped training hard out and competing. So I went missing for like a year and a half and just knuckled in and worked hard. But now when everything opened up, then it was time to get back into it. You know what I mean?
Do you think that made you more, do you think that made your desire to get back into it when you could?
Oh, 100%.
Bigger?
100%. It was always my passion. You know, I do strongman because I love it. It's my passion. I don't do it because it's a job or anything like that. I do it because I genuinely wake up every day and can't fucking wait to get into the gym and train. Because for me, this is what I love to do. You know, I spend time with my family. I go to work to do all that. But instead of going to get on the drink with the boys or going to do all that, I'd rather go train. That's just what strong means to me. So when this was all happening, I eventually knew that I would get back into it, but it was the right time and wait for the moment. And when the doors finally opened, we got back to work, got back in the gym, started moving again, and started putting everything back together.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the same for everyone, wasn't it? You know,
Yeah,
kind of, you know, coming out of that kind of lockdown, and you know, I mean, and the thing is though, is that you know, a lot of people, and myself included, and I know Rob's the same, use kind of exercise, gym from a mental health perspective as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It kind of really kind of, you know, I mean, the t-shirt I've got on here is the kind of the brand, the Lift the Bar Apparel, which is a kind of brand that's really about you know, talking about mental health, kind of normalizing it, letting people, you know, and understanding that connection between the physical and the mental well-being sort of thing. And it's really well documented. It's not like it's anything new or anything like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, I think that really impacted a lot of people. I mean, I was really lucky that I had some stuff I could train and all this, you know, but I think for a lot of people, that being locked down, not being able to be physically active in the gym and stuff like that was a massive thing. So when we came out the back end of it, it was, you know, a massive relief for a lot of people to be able to kind of get back in, and, you know, whether it's get back to strongman or get back to, you know, just general sort of stuff. So, so I mean, it's a question I kind of ask everyone that kind of comes on, sort of thing. And you know, there'll be a lot of guys that will, and ladies that will be watching this now, will be watching it back when I kind of post it later on, that are, you know, are fans. You know, they kind of watch it on the TV and stuff like that sort of thing, and you know, have thought about starting strongman and this sort of stuff. You know, I mean, if you could kind of give some advice to people that were considering starting strongman, you know, what advice would you give? What are the kind of 5 things that you would recommend they did first?
I definitely recommend getting a good team on board straight away. When I mean team, I reckon find a coach. You know, I wish I'd done this earlier, where I'd found a coach to put a plan together. Because if we're going to go in and just throw weight around, throw things around, not have a plan, not have a structure, that's when we're going to do injuries, and that's when we're going to learn bad habits. If we pick those things up along the way, we've got to retrain the body and the mind. So my first, every time I said, find a coach. Find someone that you're interested in or that you look up to. There's so many coaches these days, and get a plan together. I always say this to everyone: enjoy what you do. Enjoy it. Remember, don't put so much stress on yourself. You're getting into it because you love it. Don't let it turn into something that you think you have to do or put pressure on yourself to do. Third, and we see this all the time, don't worry about the records. Don't worry about trying to break records here and there. Let's set some goals. Set some big time goals, but set realistic goals. Okay? I see a lot of people that go out and put up these massive goals, which is awesome, but you need to set realistic goals in order to get to the big goals. For instance, I want to be Australia's strongest man. Sweet, awesome. Well, let's go and win the state title first. You know what I mean? So be realistic like that. And my biggest thing for when I train is to have fun, and when it's time to lift, then we lift.
Yeah, switch it on, like you were saying, sort of thing. So, I mean, I think that's a really common mistake, and it's one I made, to be honest, when I first started. It was kind of getting in the gym, trying to throw around as much as I possibly could, and and had a series of problems. And it's one of those things that once you learn how to do something badly, and you do get a coach, as you say, you've then got to reprogram your body to get it to do it properly, sort of thing. I mean, talking about injuries, I mean, everyone kind of gets them, irrespective of what level of strongman, strong woman that you're in, sort of thing. I mean, but obviously the whole rest and recovery kind of piece is really, really important. As like same as with nutrition. I mean, what kind of things do you do to kind of help to keep your body together? Kind of.
Honestly, man, I'm huge on recovery. I'm huge on it. If I'm not recovered properly, I probably wouldn't train. Honestly, and this has taken me years to figure out, because just speaking to a lot of people, reading a lot of things, that why go in and do a session if you're only 80%, when you could have another day and be at the 90%. You know what I mean? So, touch wood. I feel like that's the reason why I haven't been seriously injured, or I haven't pushed it to the limit where I need to, where in my mind is I'll push it to the limit on the day I need to. But everything else from that is set in motion. You know what I mean? Reality is, we only train, 3 hours a day, gents? 4 hours a day? What do we do the rest of the day? Exactly. We're there at work, nutrition, or recovery. So for that 3 hours at the gym, that's fine. But we look at the bigger picture. What are we doing for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's you got to listen to your body, as you say, and you're sort of saying if you're feeling rough or whatever, and actually, and if you kind of delve into the depths of the information, sometimes it's counterproductive. You think, I've got to get a session in because I'm scheduled to do one, but actually, you just kind of damage your body's recovery potential, and you then suffer for the next 2 or 3 days. And it's important to get your sessions in and all that sort of stuff, obviously. But it's I'm a great believer. I mean, I'm a little bit older. I'm in my 50s now, sort of thing. Like, so I got to kind of listen.
You only look 30, fella. You only look 30.
Get the old tint in.
Just for men in the beard.
I've picked a careful filter to make sure. Just to make sure it's the best that it can be, sort of thing. So I mean, obviously, we've talked a little bit about your past and who you are as a person and the comps that you've kind of come through and all that sort of thing. So, I mean, obviously, I know that you've got SCL England coming up in August. Yep. What else have you got in your schedule for this year?
I've actually got a few SCLs I want to do. So I'm just lining them out, because I really want to get to that final at the end of the year. I really want to put my foot in there. I only had a taste of my competition, my first one in Bosnia. You know what I mean? And I just really want to get in there and get amongst it with the boys, you know. So we've been invited to Giants too, finally, man. After all the years of hard work, we finally got an invite to Giants. So I'm really pumped about that. Royal Albert Hall. I'm really excited to show.
I went to that one last year or the year before. Amazing venue. Absolutely fantastic. It's such an iconic place. I'm
really excited. I'm so excited to more introduce the Warrior to the world, because everyone knows Rongo, but no one really knows who the Warrior is yet. So there's heaps of opportunities this year. It's just picking shows that align with who I am, and picking shows that will work in with me, my schedule with my family.
I mean, that's kind of why I asked the question about, what do you do outside of strongman, because I kind of know from experience that it can become very absorbing of all of your time, and it's, as you say, it's important to kind of make that time for other parts of your life as well. And, and the reason I ask is that, people that are at the top level of the sport like yourself are still making that, because I think at times some people at, the lower levels become a little bit obsessional about it.
Here's a good advice for everyone coming up from me. This is my own personal experience. Balance is key. Okay? Balance is key. And for me, a strong foundation is key, which means that I make sure that my house is in order, which my family is in order. And what I mean by in order is that everyone's happy, everyone's safe, and everyone is well looked after, because you cannot stem out and conquer things throughout the world unless your base is strong. So for me, I make sure that my family is good, everyone's happy before I venture out and do all these competitions, because that just reminds me and just lets me know that I'm heading out, everything's all good, and I'm ready to go and do what I need to do. So for everyone up and coming, just make sure that you've ticked all the boxes around you, because if everything around you is good, wherever you go out to put yourself out, it's going to be good. Positive energy is positive energy.
Same foundation to kind of build off of, isn't it? And
100%.
So okay, so I mean, obviously, Rob and I kind of run a promotions company, and we have to kind of pick events and kind of stuff like that sort of thing. So if you were organising a competition, what would your top 5? What events would you pick for you?
Honestly, I feel like I'm getting to a point where I'm a well-rounded athlete. You know what I mean? My best event's probably pressing. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not bad at pressing, but my goal for me is to be well-rounded, and I showed that at Magnus, where it was just pick something up or adjust to this. And remember, every athlete there didn't know what we were doing. None of us got to touch the implements. It was just figure it out on the spot. So, one event that I do actually hate, I'm lying, is freaking shield carry. Why? Or a sandbag carry for distance. Yeah. So, that's one event that I hate. But for me personally, man, I just want to be a strongman that's well-rounded, that you can throw anything at me and I can adjust and go for it. You know what I mean? That's the goal for me.
I mean, that's I was chatting to Kane Francis, who I know that on the last one, sort of.
Right, Kane, yeah.
He's a good boy. Yeah. And he, we were sort of talking about consistency, and it's exactly the point that you kind of made there, is that you just gotta you can have your excellent events, like you're sort of saying that you really love pressing and that's your real strength, but it's that consistency across everything else, being good at everything, not having that those events that are kind of really going to cost you points. And I was thinking about, I'm off up to Europe's Strongest Man on Saturday to watch, and you kind of look at the lineup that's there, and you look at the events, and there's a lot of stuff there that's it is traditional strongman, but there's also a lot of stuff that's going to be about recovery as well, about how quickly you can kind of get yourself going. Because the Giants' lives are really fast paced anyway. Between kind of one event and the next and all that sort of thing, and there's some there's a fair amount of moving in there as well. And I think going back to your point about being a well-rounded athlete is really important.
100%. We look at the sport there. It's changed over the last few years. Gone are the big boys. Comps are being sped up. Comps are on the move. The events, and we're moving now, where everyone has had to change their game plan. We've had to build a bigger and stronger engine to be able to handle everything thrown at us at a short amount of time, you know what I mean? So you see all the strongmen now adding in conditioning, you know, adding in this, adding in that, because we have to adapt. And if you don't, you're going to get left behind, because, you know, comps now are being won by not who's the strongest initially, it's who's the most conditioned, who can recover quickly and ready to go again 100%.
Well, I mean, everyone there is super strong. You know, that's a prerequisite of even arriving. Do you know what I mean? You don't get to go and compete there if you're not strong. So, you know, I mean, and obviously, you know, different events, some people are stronger in others, ones than others. But yeah, you're right. It's that kind of mobility, fitness, if you want to call it that, and that ability to recover. Sorry, Rob, I'd cut you off a second.
Right, I was going to say, when you look at last year, you look at the impact Mitchell Hooper had when he came on the scene. You know, that's...
Oh, I think we've lost you, Rob. We can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Yeah. I was saying, yeah, Mitchell Hooper, we just came on with this massive engine. I mean, he was strong. Everybody's strong, but he just had this engine and this ability for work that was absolutely immense.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, he's someone that, you know, I mean, I guess for some people he sort of turned up at Worlds and everyone would have been a bit like, well, who's Mitchell Hooper? I mean, I guess people in the sport would know. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that was kind of like his breakthrough kind of moment, I guess, in a way, for a lot of people.
I met Mitch a long time ago, and I competed against him at a local comp. And I heard of him, and I knew of him. And when I met him, I just knew straight away. I said, shit. And I said to him straight, I shook his hand and I said, brother, you're going to do some amazing things in the sport. You're going to do great things. And I wish you all the best. And I shook his hand and looked him in the eye, because I could just see, man, you know, you know someone's special when someone's different. And and this was years ago I met him, and it's just so amazing to see where he is right now, how far he's come, you know what I mean? But also the knowledge and the knowledge in what he's doing for the sports is awesome.
I mean, that's a pretty insane rookie year, isn't it? You know, to at that kind of elite level. Do you know what I mean? It's like podium, win, podium. Man. You know,
it's absolutely unbelievable, but credit to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People got to remember that. Credit to him. Like, people, you know, that just doesn't happen. He's been grinding his ass. He's been putting in the work. You know, he's locked himself in a room and done the work, and the results are showing for themselves. So that's what people got on. He didn't just step out of nowhere. He put the work in to do what he did. It's absolutely unbelievable.
I mean, it's, you know, that kind of strength and progression happens over years. As you said, you're locked away in a room and you're building, and you know that's kind of Worlds was his breakout moment. But he got invited to Worlds for a reason, you know, and he's just been massive. And you know, I mean, talking about this year's World's Strongest Man, you know, he's got to be in the mix for most people's podiums. You know, it's
100%. Like and like everyone knows he's coming. Everyone knows he's there. He's coming. He's going for it. And if we've seen his past performances, he turns up and does what he has to do. You know what I mean? Everything he's spoken, he's gone and done. So it's going to be an awesome battle. You know what I mean? Like, we all have our top picks, but it's just going to come down to who doesn't make a mistake. You know what I mean? Who's done the game plan.
You've got obviously you've got, you know, Brian Shaw's declared this is his last one. Mark Felix has declared this is his last one. You know, and you know Brian has had an amazing career. You know, I don't think anyone could kind of question that in any way. But you know, he's a dangerous guy. You know, with it being his last one,
Brian, he is looking absolutely unbelievable.
Like focused, he's on.
He looks absolutely unbelievable. And he's going to turn up and he's going to throw down. You know what I mean? So, like, that's what I mean. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. The top guys, it's going to be on. You know what I mean? Like, it's exciting as hell. Gutted, I'm not going to be there. Stop moaning, bro. No one cares.
I mean, it's interesting because you've got like Alexei Novikov that's coming back he's competing at Europe's this week, but he's had a bit of a break. You know, and you never know when someone comes back. I mean, he's looking a bit bigger. He's looking, you know, a bit more chunky, sort of thing, and coming into it.
I'm actually happy he had a break.
Yeah,
because he pushed it to the limit. If you count how many comps he did back to back to back, like, before that break, it was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean,
And
my talking about Europe's now, my top tip for Europe's is Pavel Kordiaka. I think the events really suit him well. You know, he's obviously he's at SCL England as well. So do you know what I mean? I'm really interested to see how he performs this weekend you know, with those events. And yeah, because he's again another amazing athlete.
And that's how exciting our sport is right now.
Yeah.
You know, we have our picks and everything like that, but with promoters putting random events in, not the old standard ones, that's what throws everything. You know what I mean? A different event, an event that's different from normal could just throw everything in a positive way, because, you know, we're looking for the strongest person overall. So by throwing things in like that, it turns it up. You know what I mean? It makes it exciting.
I mean,
you know, it changes positions. It throws points here and there that could change the whole course of the outcome.
I mean, the thing is, though, strongman, you know, even just in the last 5 years has changed and grown so much. And, you know, you were kind of sort of saying a second ago, you know, and years, you know, in relatively recent years, you know, you kind of had, you know, Brian against Big Z, you had Brian and Z against Marius, you know, but there was always like, you know, there was a bit of air between the top guys and the rest.
Yeah.
Now you're legitimately going into that Worlds in a few weeks with probably 4 or 5 people that stand a really, you know what I mean, the quality is insane.
It's unbelievable.
Going up and up and up. And I mean, that's great. I mean, you know, strongman as a sport is just growing and developing. And obviously it's fantastic that, you know, the ladies have got their first Giants live show on the 30th of September up at the Doncaster Dome.
Yeah.
You know, which is, I think it's a real great step forward for the sport and that as well. It's just it's a really exciting time to be involved in strongman. You know, it's buzzing kind of moment sort of thing. So yeah. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, we're kind of coming to, you know, heading towards the kind of hour kind of point now. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of say thank you to yourself and to Rob for your time. Bro, you know, and
not finished yet, bro. No. I don't want to go. Don't try and pick me off.
I'll see you at the airport when I see you in a few weeks, mate. When I come to pick you up.
My man.
Couple of quick fire questions before you go. Right, what position did you play in rugby, and how many calories are you on a day?
You wouldn't believe this, brother, but I played centre.
No way.
I was
Cannonball.
Yeah. So I was a centre, brother. So I played centre for a long time, but then once I started getting into strongman, I moved to number 8. And I wish I had done it sooner, because then I realised I could get a lot more ball in number 8, and at the same time still run short lines and break through. So I was very lucky. I was quite fast for my size. You know what I mean? So I was very lucky. So yeah, I was centre to start, and then I moved to number 8, brother. The day I had to hang up my rugby boots, man, I still remember it. I hung it up to pursue strongman, because you know as well as I do, you go out and watch the boys play, and you already know that your boots are sitting in the bloody boot of the car, eh? You know, eh? So, man, yeah.
I took my boots off for the last time in 2018 on the pitch at Saracens ground at Allianz Park, and Adi was there watching it, and I played 10 minutes. I came off the bench. I came on at loose head because I can play both sides, and I just got ruined in the loose. I could shore the scrum up, but I just got ruined, and I was in bits. I had a lump on my head, I had blood coming out my eye. I was like, I'm done.
I was very I was playing quite high level rugby growing up. I went through all the developments and everything like that, and then I played a game and popped my shoulder, and that was it. In New Zealand, if you have an injury like that, man, you know, so that was gutting. But I tell you right now, when I finish strongman, I'll be playing rugby, 100%. Yeah, when I finish, I'll go back.
Awesome.
I'm 100% going back to play rugby. I love it.
I think it's once you've got it in your blood, you know, like you were sort of saying about going and watching people play, you still think, you know, I still watch a game now thinking, yeah, I could still do that.
Yeah. I could probably do what? I have these little thoughts sometimes. I'm just like, I reckon I could still run through some people right now. It wouldn't last very long, but I guarantee I reckon I got
damage. 2 or 3 good runs in me and I'm done.
100% effort, brother.
I need to bring in the special teams concept so that at scrum time they could just roll me on to push and then take me off and then have to run around.
Unlimited substitutions. You just come on for 5 minutes, blast it with your all, and then go off again.
And the second question, what's your calorie count per day at the minute? Getting ready for comp.
Right now, I'm probably on 4,000 a day. Yeah, nothing full on right now. Yeah, nothing. And quite honestly, I don't really bump up that much. I'm probably sitting at 145 kgs right now.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable there. Yeah, I'm quite comfortable.
It's funny, actually, the people that we've spoken to recently, and when you look at stats of people that are coming into comps and stuff, the 140 to 150 mark seems to be like a pretty good fighting rate for the modern strongman. You know, for like more conditioned, more mobile, away from the static monsters kind of thing. That 140, 150 mark seems to be a real good plan for people.
I think honestly that's where it's going to be moving forward, because like you said, everything's changing now. You know, gone are the days of the big static monsters, because you just can't keep up. Me at 160 is an absolute mess. You know what I mean? Me at 160 is an absolute mess. Can't tie my shoelaces or not. So trimming down to be a lot more mobile, fitter, and conditioned is key now to longevity, but also lasting the season, but also coming away injury free, making sure that you're healthy.
Yeah.
I mean that makes a massive difference, doesn't it? That that extra weight, it's just like pressure on your knees and all your joints and all the rest of the sort of stuff. When you're already carrying a heavy weight, that extra kind of bulk.
We've got to be more realistic too. Us as athletes, we've got to look at us at what weight is it? Is it good weight or bad weight that we're carrying? You know what I mean? Strongman loves the strongman belly, but do we need that belly, brother? You know what I mean?
Strongman belly an excuse for the eating.
There you go, brother.
It's like the old adage, mass moves mass, and it's true to a point, but do you know what I mean? It doesn't, it's not an excuse to just
we've all been there, we've all been there, where my earlier days of career was eat everything and anything. Takeaways the lot, not knowing that, could have eaten something better, could have been a lot stronger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. So yeah. I mean, it's been fantastic to talk to you. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person later on this year.
100%, man. I'm so excited.
We'll have a good time and have a great comp and a few beers afterwards, sort of thing. So
I'm coming over to run a mucker. You know that, eh? I'm coming over. We're gonna have some fun, gentlemen. All right, no one's safe.
Sure.
I just want to say
that's
that. None of you are
that's
safe.
what SEO's all about. That's what SEO's all about. Train on.
None of you are safe, gentlemen. None of you are safe. I was going to say that. You watch it over your back every time I'm around, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, thanks, guys. I mean, that's it. I've seen there's been a lot of people kind of coming in and out, a few people commenting, and obviously we'll publish this on the Unbreakable Promotions kind of page straight afterwards. Obviously we've got another one coming up on the 7th of April. We've got Aaron Casey, who's the Mofo body mechanic, who's he's a great guy, and it'd be really interesting to hear his opinion on some of the rehab stuff, myths and issues and all that sort of thing. But brother, thank you very much. It's been amazing to have you on. Great to talk to you, and I look forward to meeting you in the not too distant future.
Yeah,
100%. Thank you again for having me, man. Really appreciate you, brothers.
Cheers. Thank you,
guys.
Bye bye.